10 truths about inner peace no one ever told you. The shifting circumstances you try so desperately to control. It begins in the silent space within, the place you have avoided, the place you fear, the place where your truest self waits with infinite patience. For all your searching, for all your reaching, for all your chasing, peace has been waiting for you, not in the noise of achievement, not in the applause of others, not even in the absence of suffering. Peace waits in the stillness beneath your thoughts, like a lake undisturbed by the storms above. We spend our lives believing peace is something to be earned, something to be deserved, something far away, hidden behind 1,000 obstacles we must conquer. But the Buddha taught a truth far simpler and infinitely more profound. Your suffering begins in the mind. Therefore, your liberation must begin there too. Every fear you hold, every expectation that tightens your chest, every memory that haunts you, every desire that pulls you, each one has its roots in the untrained mind. And yet, the mind itself is not your enemy. It is simply a tool left unattended, a wild horse running without direction, kicking up dust on the path. But when you turn inward, gently, patiently, courageously, you begin the most important journey of your life. You begin the journey home. And so, this first truth rises like a lantern on the path. Number 1, inner peace begins with mastering the mind. Your mind is always speaking, whispering, pulling, reacting. It narrates your past and invents your future. It creates storms from silence and mountains from grains of sand. For most people, the mind becomes a tyrant, not because it wishes to harm, but because it has never been taught to serve. When you are not aware of the mind, you become lost inside it. Thoughts become commands, emotions become identities. Fear becomes truth. Desire becomes obligation. You begin to believe you are your thoughts, and peace slips through your fingers like water. To master the mind is not to silence it, but to see it clearly, to watch a thought rise, and instead of clinging to it, simply let it pass. To witness anger without becoming anger. To observe fear without surrendering to fear. To notice desire without letting it drag you by the throat. But mindfulness, sati, the Buddha called it, is the key that unlocks the door to inner freedom. The mind becomes peaceful when you stop wrestling with it, when you stop chasing every thought, when you no longer judge, suppress, or cling. Like a pond settling after a stone is thrown, the mind becomes clear when you stop disturbing it. Only then, when the mind is transparent, steady, open, does peace become more than a possibility. It becomes your natural state. This is where the journey begins. This is the first truth. Master the mind, and you master your life. Number 2, belief shapes reality, but detachment frees the heart. Every human being walks through life carrying an invisible map, an inner landscape shaped by beliefs, stories, and assumptions collected through years of experience. These beliefs quietly shape every decision, every reaction, and every interpretation of the world. They define what we think is possible, what we think we deserve, and what we fear. They determine the walls we build and the doors we never open. But the Buddha taught, what we believe, we become. What we cling to, we suffer for. Belief is powerful. It can raise you from despair or bury you deeper in it. It can open your heart or close it. It can make a small problem feel enormous, or it can transform the heaviest burden into an opportunity for awakening. What you believe does not merely describe your world, it constructs it. Yet this truth hides a subtle danger. While beliefs shape reality, it is the clinging to them that traps the heart. Most people live not with beliefs, but with prisons made of beliefs. We cling to ideas about who we are. I am this, I must be that. I cannot change. I am not enough. We cling to ideas about others. They should act this way. They must not disappoint me. They owe me something. We cling to ideas about life itself. It must go according to my plans. It must not change. It must satisfy my expectations. But life does not obey our beliefs. Life flows according to its own nature, and so suffering arises, not because life is harsh, but because we resist its unfolding. Detach from belief, and you do not lose direction. You gain clarity. You begin to see the world not through the fog of assumptions, but through the clarity of direct experience. You see people as they are, not as you imagine them to be. You see yourself as you are, not as the mind insists you must be. Detachment is not rejection. It is not indifference. It is not abandoning your values or hopes. Detachment simply means releasing the need for life to match your beliefs before you can be at peace. When you stop gripping your beliefs like lifelines, your heart opens, your mind expands, your suffering loosens its hold, and you begin to walk through the world with a gentler step, a clearer vision, and a quieter mind. This is the second truth. Shape your reality through wise beliefs, but free your heart by clinging to nothing. Number 3, clarity comes from seeing, not controlling. There is a deep instinct in the human heart, a quiet desperation to control. We want to control outcomes, emotions, other people, the future, even the unfolding of time. We cling to certainty as if uncertainty were a threat, rather than a natural rhythm of existence. And yet the more we try to control life, the more life resists us. The more we tighten our grip, the more inner peace slips away. The Buddha taught that suffering does not come from the world, but from our attachment to how the world should be. We mistake control for clarity. We imagine that if we could only bend life into the shape we desire, then, and only then, would peace arrive. But peace is not the reward for controlling life. Peace is the consequence of seeing life. Clarity is born from observation, not domination. It arises when you stop forcing experience and start witnessing it. When you look at a moment without judgment, without fear, without expectation. When you allow reality to reveal itself on its own terms. Seeing clearly means watching thoughts come and go without believing they define you. It means allowing emotions to move through you without drowning in them. It means meeting each experience with curiosity rather than resistance. Clarity is the art of surrendering to truth, not bending truth to your will. When you stop trying to control your mind, you begin to hear it. When you stop trying to control emotions, they soften. When you stop trying to control people, relationships become lighter. When you stop trying to control outcomes, your energy returns to you, no longer spent battling what cannot be held. Life becomes clear when you stop fighting it. Clarity does not remove challenge, but it removes confusion. It brings a calm, steady knowing this moment is simply what it is. And from that acceptance, wisdom arises naturally. This is why clarity is a higher form of power than control. Control breaks under pressure. Clarity bends, adapts, and endures. When you see clearly, you no longer need to force anything. You become aligned with the truth of the moment, and the world reveals its simplicity. This is the third truth. Clarity arises not from controlling life, but from seeing life exactly as it is. Number 4, vision is the art of walking without fear. Vision is not merely the ability to imagine a future. It is the ability to walk toward that future with a steady heart, even when the path is uncertain, even when the outcome is unclear. True vision is not a blueprint. It is a flame, a quiet, unwavering fire that guides you through darkness without demanding that the darkness disappear. The Buddha taught that fear arises from attachment, attachment to safety, to certainty, to identity, to the illusions we cling to for comfort. When fear governs the mind, vision becomes clouded. You begin to see obstacles instead of possibilities, danger instead of opportunity. You take smaller steps, or worse, no steps at all. But vision, in its purest form, is not about predicting what will happen. Vision is about knowing who you are as you move through what happens. Most people believe they need confidence before taking action. But confidence is the result of action, not the cause. Vision is what allows you to move even when confidence has not yet arrived. It whispers, walk anyway, begin anyway, trust anyway. Vision is not the absence of fear. It is the refusal to obey fear. To cultivate vision, you must learn to shift your focus from outcomes to alignment. Ask not whether you will succeed. Ask whether the path is true to you. Ask whether each step expresses wisdom, compassion, and authenticity. Vision is sustained not by reassurance, but by integrity. When your vision is aligned with truth, every obstacle becomes a teacher. Every setback becomes a refinement. Every uncertainty becomes an invitation to deepen your faith, not in the external world, but in your own clarity of purpose. The world may tell you to chase grand ambitions, to pursue impressive achievements. But the Buddha reminds us, the greatest achievement is walking the path that is true without fear, without hurry, without losing yourself. Vision is simply the practice of returning, again and again, to what matters, to what feels honest, to what resonates quietly in the heart. When you walk with vision, your steps become steady, your choices become deliberate, your life becomes a reflection of inner truth rather than outer pressure. This is the fourth truth. Vision is not seeing the future, it is walking the present moment without fear. Number 5. Purpose emerges when you stop running from yourself. Purpose is one of the great illusions of modern life. People search for it as if it were a treasure buried in some distant land, something to pursue, something to capture, something waiting out there in the world. They imagine that purpose is a career, a passion, a calling delivered by fate or written in the stars. But the Buddha taught that purpose does not come from striving. Purpose arises from understanding, and understanding only arises when you stop running from yourself. Most people are not lost because they lack direction. They are lost because they are disconnected from their own inner truth, from the quiet voice beneath the noise, from the deeper currents of their being. They fill their days with busyness, their minds with distraction, their hearts with fear. They silence discomfort with entertainment, drown uncertainty with ambition, and avoid reflection with constant motion. To discover purpose, you must first stop escaping your own presence. Sit with yourself, listen to yourself, not the surface chatter of the mind, but the deeper whisper beneath it. Pay attention to what brings you alive. Notice what drains your spirit. Observe what wounds you are still carrying, what dreams you have abandoned, what truths you have buried under the expectations of others. Purpose is not something you find. It is something you uncover by removing what is false, what is borrowed, what no longer belongs to you. When you stop running, you begin to recognize that purpose is woven into your very being. It is expressed through your natural tendencies toward compassion, curiosity, creation, or service. It is revealed through what you are drawn to, what you return to, what feels meaningful even when no one is watching. Purpose is not a destination, it is a direction. It is the orientation of a heart that is no longer hiding. It is the movement of a life lived consciously, courageously, and authentically. When you walk in alignment with your true nature, even the smallest actions become profound. Even the simplest moments become sacred. And when you live this way, you no longer ask, "What is my purpose?" Instead, your life itself becomes the answer. This is the fifth truth. Purpose appears not when you search for it, but when you stop running from who you truly are. Number 6. Discipline is the bridge between chaos and freedom. Discipline is often misunderstood. Many imagine it as restriction, rigidity, or self-punishment, a harsh structure imposed upon life. But in the teachings of the Buddha, discipline is not a prison. It is the path out of prison. It is the bridge that carries you from the chaos of unconscious living to the freedom of an awakened mind. Without discipline, the mind becomes a restless wanderer. It leaps from desire to desire, fear to fear, distraction to distraction. It chases stimulation and resists stillness. It creates plans, but abandons them at the first discomfort. It wants growth, but not effort. It wants peace, but not practice. This is why so many suffer. They long for transformation, but they live at the mercy of impulse. Discipline is the art of choosing what nourishes you over what merely satisfies you. It is the steady cultivation of actions that align with wisdom rather than craving. It is the daily decision to return to your breath, your clarity, your intention, again and again, even when the mind tries to escape. In the Buddhist path, discipline is called sila, ethical conduct, mindful restraint, conscious choice. It is not about suppressing yourself. It is about shaping yourself. It is not about forcing life. It is about forming character. It is not about denying your humanity. It is about directing it toward growth. Every moment of discipline is a moment of liberation. When you choose presence over distraction, you free yourself. When you choose compassion over reaction, you free yourself. When you choose patience over urgency, you free yourself. When you choose what is right over what is easy, you free yourself. Discipline creates structure, and structure creates space. The space in which wisdom can arise, clarity can settle, and peace can take root. The disciplined mind is not tense. It is trained. It is not harsh. It is honed. It is not closed. It is anchored. Freedom is not the absence of effort. Freedom is the result of consistent, conscious effort. The Buddha did not awaken by chance. He awakened through unwavering practice, steady intention, and disciplined attention. And so will you. This is the sixth truth. Discipline is the quiet force that transforms chaos into freedom and aspiration into reality. Number 7. Peace requires action, not retreat. Many imagine inner peace as an escape, a retreat into silence, isolation, or withdrawal from the world. They picture monks in remote mountains, untouched by noise or responsibility, and assume that peace is found only in separation. But the Buddha's teachings point to a different truth. Peace is not born from running away from life. Peace is born from meeting life with wisdom and compassionate action. Retreat can be valuable. Stillness can heal. Quiet can reveal what the noise has long hidden. But if peace is only possible when the world disappears, then it is not peace. It is avoidance. True inner peace is the ability to remain centered in the middle of the world, not outside of it. The Buddha walked among people. He taught in villages, marketplaces, and forests. He engaged with suffering, conflict, hardship, and desire, not because he was immune to them, but because peace becomes meaningful only when it can withstand the realities of life. Peace is not passive. Peace is a practice. It shows itself in your choices, small decisions, daily actions, moments when you respond instead of react. Peace appears not when you hide from discomfort, but when you face discomfort with a calm, steady heart. It grows each time you choose understanding over anger, compassion over judgment, patience over urgency. To live with peace is to live deliberately, to speak with awareness, to listen with presence, to move with intention, to love with clarity. You cannot meditate your way out of life. You must live your practice not only on the cushion, but in conversation, in conflict, in fatigue, in responsibility, and in the unpredictable flow of ordinary days. When you choose a mindful step instead of a hurried one, you create peace. When you breathe before speaking, you create peace. When you act from wisdom rather than impulse, you create peace. Peace is built moment by moment, through conscious action. This is why inner peace is not fragile. It is strong, strong enough to move through the world without losing its center, strong enough to remain open when others close, strong enough to choose love, even when the easy path is resentment. This is the seventh truth. Peace is not found in escape. It is created through mindful, compassionate action in the world. Number 8. Gratitude is the quiet force that dissolves suffering. Gratitude is often misunderstood as a simple feeling, something that appears only when life is easy, when things go well, when blessings are obvious. But in the Buddha's teachings, gratitude is not a reaction. It is a practice, a way of seeing, a gentle discipline of the heart. Gratitude is not a what happens to you. It is what you choose to cultivate within you. Most suffering arises not from the absence of good, but from the blindness to it. The mind, left untrained, focuses on what is missing, what is broken, what is uncertain. It clings to what it wants and ignores what it already has. It filters life through dissatisfaction, creating a constant sense of lack, even in moments that are full. Gratitude dissolves this illusion. When you practice gratitude, you shift your attention from scarcity to sufficiency, from longing to presence, from resistance to acceptance. You begin to notice the countless small miracles that quietly sustain your life. The breath that enters your lungs, the warmth of morning light, the kindness of a stranger, the lessons learned in hardship, the strength forged in suffering. Gratitude does not deny pain. It transforms your relationship to it. When you are grateful, pain becomes a teacher rather than a punishment. Challenges become opportunities for growth. Loss becomes a reminder of the preciousness of what remains. Gratitude does not erase difficulty. It places it in a larger, truer context. A grateful heart is a spacious heart, one that can hold joy and sorrow together without collapsing. It is a heart that sees beauty in imperfection and possibility in uncertainty. It is a heart open to the fullness of life. In Buddhism, gratitude is deeply connected to interdependence. Nothing you have exists in isolation. Every meal, every comfort, every breath is made possible by countless causes and conditions. People you have never met, forces you cannot see, the earth itself working on your behalf. When you recognize this, entitlement fades. Humility grows, compassion deepens. Gratitude is the antidote to the restless mind. It grounds you in the present. It softens the ego. It quiets desire. It awakens peace. When practiced consistently, gratitude becomes a gentle power, one that frees you from the constant ache of more and returns you to the quiet truth that this moment, just as it is, contains everything needed for awakening. This is the 8th truth. Gratitude is not a feeling but a practice, and it is powerful enough to dissolve suffering from the inside out. Number 9. Adaptability is the silent strength of the wise. Life is movement. It shifts, evolves, rises, falls, expands, and contracts. Nothing stays the same. Not the seasons, not the body, not relationships, not fortune, not even the thoughts passing through your mind. Yet suffering arises when we expect life to be still. We want situations to remain comfortable, people to remain predictable, and circumstances to remain favorable. But the Buddha taught all things are impermanent, and wisdom is measured by how gracefully we adapt to this truth. Adaptability is not weakness. It is resilience. It is the ability to meet life as it is, not as you wish it to be. The rigid mind breaks when change comes. The flexible mind bends and grows stronger. Adaptability is the art of letting go of resistance so that you can move with life, not against it. When you cling to how things were, you suffer. When you cling to how things should be, but when you open to how things are, peace becomes possible. Adaptability begins with awareness, seeing clearly that each moment is new, each breath is unique, each experience is unfolding for the first and last time. When you understand impermanence, not intellectually, but deeply, fear softens. You stop grasping. You stop fighting the natural flow. In Buddhism, adaptability is also rooted in non-self. When you let go of the rigid idea of who you are supposed to be, you open to who you are becoming. You evolve with circumstances instead of being crushed by them. You respond with wisdom instead of reacting with panic. Adaptability is not passivity. It does not mean accepting injustice, tolerating harm, or abandoning dreams. It means adjusting your approach while holding on to your values. It means meeting obstacles with curiosity rather than despair. It means shifting your steps without losing your direction. A wise person does not fear change because they understand that change is life. Without change, there is no growth, no learning, no awakening. Adaptability is the skill that transforms uncertainty into opportunity and disruption into transformation. When the winds of life shift, the wise do not curse the storm. They adjust their sails, they breathe, they continue forward. This is the ninth truth. Adaptability is not simply survival. It is the silent strength that allows you to walk through life with grace, resilience, and inner peace. Number 10. Resilience is born from letting go, not holding on. Resilience is often portrayed as endurance, as the ability to push harder, hold tighter, and refuse to break under pressure. But the Buddha taught a very different truth. Real resilience is not the strength to cling. It is the wisdom to release. Most people suffer not because life is unbearable, but because they grip it so tightly. They cling to memories, identities, expectations, relationships, and outcomes long after they have served their purpose. They hold on to the past as if it could change. They hold on to the future as if it could be controlled. They hold on to who they once were, even as life gently asks them to become someone new. Letting go is not losing. Letting go is choosing peace over illusion. To be resilient is to allow life to move through you without breaking your spirit. It is the ability to open your hands when everything in you wants to close them. It is the understanding that every ending carries a beginning and every loss contains hidden wisdom. In the teachings of the Buddha, resilience is deeply tied to impermanence, the recognition that everything, without exception, changes. And because everything changes, holding tightly only multiplies pain. When you let go, you create space. Space for clarity. Space for healing. Space for who you are becoming. Letting go does not mean apathy. It does not mean abandoning your values or withdrawing from life. It means releasing what no longer aligns with truth. It means allowing what is heavy to set itself down. It means trusting that life continues even when the path ahead is unclear. Resilience cannot grow in a clenched heart. It grows in a heart that is soft, flexible, and open. When you release resistance, life stops feeling like a battle and begins to feel like a flow. You move with challenges instead of against them. You adapt without losing yourself. You rise not because you fight, but because you no longer fear change. This is the 10th truth. Resilience is not born from holding on. It is born from letting go and trusting the unfolding of life. Conclusion. In the end, inner peace is not a destination. It is not a reward for perfection or an escape from suffering. Inner peace is a way of walking through the world, a way of seeing, feeling, choosing, and responding. The Buddha did not promise a life free of hardship. He promised a path free of unnecessary suffering. And each of these 10 truths is a step on that path. Master your mind. Loosen your beliefs. See clearly. Walk without fear. Stop running from yourself. Practice discipline. Act with intention. Choose gratitude. Adapt with grace. Let go to rise again. These truths are not theories. They are practices. They are invitations to awaken the strength already within you. The strength to be present, to be compassionate, to be resilient, to be free. When you walk this path, quietly and steadily, peace ceases to be something you chase. It becomes something you embody. And the moment you embody peace, you do not just transform your own life, you illuminate the path for others.